It gives me great pleasure to introduce our final award winner of this evening. First elected to the House of Commons in 1997, this individual has held numerous roles in his party throughout his distinguished career, including House Leader for the Progressive Conservative Caucus, Leader of the Progressive Conservative Party of Canada, and Deputy Leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. In government, he has served as Minister of the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency and has represented Canada abroad as Foreign Affairs Minister. He now serves as Canada's Minister of National Defence and Minister for the Atlantic Gateway. Dans son rôle comme ministre de la Défense nationale, notre dernier champion tient les questions de la santé mentale de nos forces canadiennes à cœur. In his role at the Department of National Defence, this minister has taken on the issue of mental health in the forces as one of his top priorities. And this is not only a professional commitment. This minister has a strong personal interest in ensuring that the men and women who serve our country receive both the physical and the mental care that they need. This minister was instrumental in the launch of the Be the Difference campaign, and his efforts have resulted in the hiring of additional mental health practitioners for the military, as well as the creation of several support centers across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Minister Peter MacKay.
Well, thank you so much, Sheila Rogers, who, as a Nova Scotian, I woke up with every morning on the radio. To John and Kathleen, chairs, members of the Canadian Forces, family and friends, senators and members of Parliament, I feel truly humbled to be here, having shared a stage with two wonderful representatives of the Canadian Forces. Do you see the human side inside the uniform of the men and women that we have serving our country today? General Latinchuk and Lieutenant Colonel Grenier represent the very best effort that we are making today. And there's another person who's already been singled out, and that is General Walt Simeonov, who's here, as well as the Surgeon General, other top personnel within the Canadian Forces who have made this very deliberate effort to address these important issues of mental health awareness within the Canadian Forces, but in the broader society, which I again feel truly humbled to have heard so many very warm, spontaneous, and personal remarks this evening. And an expression that I'm going to leave here with tonight that was uttered by Dr. Hodgson about lift each other up. What more Canadian expression is there than the way we feel about one another? And certainly that is true within the Canadian Forces today. There was reference made to the uniforms that are worn. My grandfather was in the Canadian Forces, and I remember seeing that old uniform hanging in the garage, of all places. It's now in a museum in a better place. But I remember thinking that uniform, it reminded me as a child of a superhero uniform. It reminded me of a uniform that represented something almost larger than life. And for many within the Canadian Forces, as General Latinchuk and others referenced so correctly, there is a feeling, I think, for members of the forces, and I only had a uniform on for 2 days, and that was challenging enough. But seeing the work that's done, both in the field, around the country, certainly when soldiers are deployed and in a theater of operations, it comes with expectation, it comes with pressure. There is a built-in courage that is expected, and it comes with a great deal of pressure that follows a person wherever they go, and particularly when they come home from those very difficult tasks. And Canadians expect a lot of their Canadian forces. They really do. They expect all of those patriotic demonstrations of strength, physical prowess, and that goes very much with being a soldier, sailor, airman, or woman. But when they come back from the battlefield, as again you saw an eloquent demonstration from Lieutenant Colonel Grenier about the battlefield that stays inside you, that you have to contend with when you come back from a deployment. And I'm proud to say that we're doing a better job in assisting our soldiers in coping with those very real pressures, and doing a better job today in supporting their families, which again I attribute very much to the efforts of the Chief of Defense Staff and all of the leadership that we have within the Canadian Forces. There is a much more human attempt to address the issues that stem from deployments, and the work that is done by the Canadian Forces, and their families are very much brought into that circle of support. And so I feel completely honored to associate myself with the work that's being done within the Canadian Forces today. I feel also equally honored and touched to be here tonight, to be part of Mental Health Awareness Week and the wonderful organization, CAMI, that is doing such incredible work to raise awareness across the country. And I can promise you this, we are going to continue to do this important work together. We're going to continue to lift one another up in a truly Canadian spirit. Je suis très, très fier d'associer avec les efforts très incroyables dans notre pays, mais particulièrement dans les forces canadiennes aujourd'hui. Merci beaucoup, bonne soirée. Thank you very much.